Hey, welcome to New Life Devos. I'm David, one of the pastors here at New Life, and we are doing Memory Mondays tonight. So if you joined us on a Monday night, you'll know that we do a little memory exercise called a catechism. And so we are on week number 11 of that. And tonight's devotion is all about commandment of the Ten Commandments, commandment 6, 7, and 8. So let's see if I can rattle off the catechism that we had to remember. So, what does God require in commandments 6, 7, and 8? 6, that we do not hurt, hate, or be hostile to our neighbour, but be patient and peaceful, pursuing even our enemies with love. 7, that we abstain from sexual immorality, living purely and faithfully, whether in marriage or in single life, avoiding all impure actions, words, thoughts, looks, or desires, and anything that might lead to them. And 8, that we do not take without permission that which belongs to someone else, or withhold a good that could benefit someone else. Okay, I think I nearly got that correct. I think I was probably a little bit jumbled up in some places. But some heavy topics this week. Commandment 6, all about murder. Commandment 7, all about adultery and keeping pure sexually. And then 8, all about stealing. Gosh, some heavy topics. I'm only going to share a couple of minutes of my thoughts, but I think it'll be a little simple thought that will bless you even as we're in this time of lockdown. So stay tuned and let me share a quick thought with you. So the little snippet out of the answer that kind of just stuck out to me is this little line where it said, pursue even your enemies with love. And there's just a bit out of Matthew 5. This is from the Sermon on the Mount. And Jesus says this. He says, you've heard people say, love your neighbours and hate your enemies. And if we're honest, isn't that kind of what we see oftentimes in society at large? People love their neighbours, those who are close to them and agree with them and agree with their political views and ideological views, and hate your enemies. So Jesus says, you've heard people say, love your neighbours and hate your enemies. But I tell you to love your enemies and pray for anyone who mistreats you. Then you'll be acting like your Father in heaven. He makes the sun rise on both good and bad people. He sends rain for the ones who do right and for the ones who do wrong. If you love only those people who love you, will God reward you for that? Even tax collectors love their friends. If you greet only your friends, what's so great about that? Don't even unbelievers do that. But you must always act like your Father in heaven. And I just want to encourage you in the moment. As Christians, we are called to a higher level of living than people who aren't Christians. So God says most people love their neighbours and hate their enemies. But in Christianity, we are compelled to love our neighbours and love our enemies. We don't get a day off loving other people. We're in it for the long run here. And I just want to encourage you, why don't you just carry out a little self-test check on your heart attitude? I wonder how you're doing in that regard. Over the last wee while, there's been lots of opportunities to stir up hate in our lives towards other people, perhaps from people who have represented a different idea or a different set of understandings about certain positions and societal issues. And that can create this tension within us, and it can lead us to actually draw back and start to very subtly hate other people. And I want to just challenge that attitude right now. If you're a Christian, we don't get to choose who we love or we hate. We have to love our neighbours and we love our enemies, because that is a picture of the Lord. That's a picture of God. God is a God who loves everyone. We are all his children, and he longs for us, for Christians in New Life, to be people who bring his love into all different situations. And I think the key is that whenever we love in a place that we shouldn't, it's so countercultural, it knocks people off, and it creates an opportunity for us to explain why we are loving even when the other person isn't loving us back. So, a little simple thought. I wonder how you're feeling about this issue, loving even your enemies. How often do we pray for people that we would pray that God would bless them, that are people who are our enemies? It's a challenging thought, isn't it? It certainly challenged me. Okay, next week we'll come back with another question, and we'll see you then.